Behind Dutch headlines, the who, why, and how of politics and media in the lowlands.
Hi, I'm Greg Shapiro. Here's what you need to know to join the Dutch conversation. This week, a breakthrough on economic reforms. The Poldermodel is alive and well. Coronation Mageddon. The season finale is drawing near. What will you be wearing? Our first headline, a breakthrough for Dutch economic reforms. What's behind the headline? Another headline. But what's behind that headline? A third headline. Margaret Thatcher died this week, leaving behind a raging debate about big versus small government. Meanwhile, U.S. Secretary of the Treasury Jacob Lew was visiting the EU, leaving behind a raging debate about stimulus versus austerity. Meanwhile, in the Netherlands, the left-leaning P van de Labour and right-leaning VVD seem to have resolved both debates. Leave it to the Dutch. The U.S. Secretary of the Treasury was in Europe to explicitly point out to the EU that we'd all be a lot happier if they would stop with the austerity and try a little bit of that sweet, sweet stimulus. The response of the German foreign minister? Nobody in Europe has any problems with austerity. But just 3 days later, the Dutch flipped the script. The Rutte cabinet announced that they are putting off the proposed 4.3 billion euros in extra budget cuts, basically telling Brussels and Germany that they can stuff their 3% deficit rule. What's going on here? The Poldermodel. It's worth remembering that in 1982, while Iron Maggie was busy bashing unions and slashing budgets, the Dutch government sat down at the same table with the unions and big business, and they came up with a third way, a series of compromises that are in effect until today. Now, of course, these compromises need updating, and that's what they're working on now. Specifically, labor unions have agreed to some tough cuts in the future as long as the Dutch government will try to stimulate the economy a bit in the present. But what about all this Thatcher-inspired austerity at all cost? Well, perhaps the lady is for turning in her grave. Our next headline, what color will you be wearing on the 30th of April? Orange fans will be wearing oranje, but anti-monarchy protesters have agreed to wear white and hang white banners out of their windows. Green activists are protesting the city's decision to release 150,000 balloons because that will be harmful to the environment. So whether you're orange or white or green, together those are the colors of the Irish flag, which is a good clue to what everyone will be doing. And finally, Dutch celebrity royalty, Rafael van der Vaart and Sylvie Meis. What started out as a fairy tale romance has degenerated into an episode of The Bold and the Beautiful. The origins. He came from humble beginnings in a trailer park to achieve wealth and fame in the big game. She was a Dutch beauty who later made it big on German TV. He found her, or did she find him? And for a while, they were media darlings. Until a violent row on New Year's Eve, a dramatic separation with Sylvie fleeing into the arms of her best friend, Sabia, who happens to be the ex-wife of his former teammate. I'm not making this up. Meanwhile, Sabia ends up in bed with Rafael, and rumor has it that Sylvie ends up in bed with another of his former teammates, in this case Zlatan Ibrahimovic, although she's actually supposed to be with a reclusive French millionaire. The only thing missing in this whole story is some long-lost twin brother who wakes up from amnesia to realize that Rafael is actually Rafaela. Never say the Dutch are boring. That's it for this week. Don't forget to listen to the podcast. Vitsa, the co-host, and myself, we have a heated debate this week. So until next week, I'm saying thank you very Dutch.
Behind Dutch headlines.